Oh, hi, it's me, JC Chandor. I'm fine now.
Oh my freaking word.
Welcome back to Has to Do with Spider-Man, I think. The one and only Sony Marvel podcast in which we pitch movies to make the other ones look better, like the real ones.
I love that this is our intro.
I'm Peyton.
Pitch new movies to make the bad ones look better. I'm Jarrett.
I'm Noah. This is not one of our better intros. But this has gotta be one of the shortest times in between like finishing recording a previous episode and then actually going into the next one.
Oh, literally,
on like
yeah.
a reasonable schedule.
I thought we were gonna have a longer gap, but we're just going right full into it.
Because the funny thing about it is that based off of our release schedule, and we're going to talk a lot more about that because this is the announcing phase 2 episode. We're going to be having guests this season.
Woo.
And so there's going to be a much longer gap for all of our episodes in terms of like pitches and whatever.
But in terms of break from the pod between phases, you guys are going to have a much shorter gap than you're used to.
That is true.
So it'll be a gap for us, but in terms of gaps between the phase itself, not much of a gap at all.
Remember when we disappeared for 2-3 month periods?
Yeah.
Hopefully that's done.
Hopefully. With this schedule, hopefully.
I had a good time.
Yeah.
Guys, can you believe that phase 1 is over? Phase 1's
Finally
done. We've got the hard part out of the way, I think. There was a lot of hoops to jump through, a lot of worry.
This was the most stressful season ever, and it's the first one. I mean, like, we'll see.
I honestly think that's to our strength, though. So much of this phase was trying to work around. It makes you think of, like, it makes me think of when Marvel comic writers do Star Wars stuff. And then anytime a new movie comes out that just, like, takes whatever they wrote and throws it out, they're like, damn it. So we were trying to avoid that by like going around them for so long, and it turned out we didn't even need to bother.
Yeah.
So there was so much like fear and anxiety and like tiptoeing going on so early on, just because we were scared to have that happen. And then now that that is done, this is fully in our control going forward. The ball is in our court, and we will take this as far as we can take it. I'm super excited.
Well, this was also the first like serious podcast for all three of us.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of learning that had to be done.
Mm-hmm. But for now, I think the best way to move forward for now is just look back at phase 1, like just a retrospective of what we did thus far before we get into our reveal for what's coming next. Noah?
Aside from the fact that is the exact opposite direction of looking forward, we are looking back at everything that happened in the past phase, what we think really worked, what we think could use some improvement going forward, and kind of just how we think all of phase 1 comes together in a singular product.
Yeah.
So thinking about it, we've had 12 episodes released.
Yep.
3 of them are recap episodes talking about the real movies that have come out.
Yeah.
So we have had 8 total pitches. 8 counting the Easter special. How do we feel about them as connective tissue? Because we only kind of discovered the connected around Kraven the Hunter with Miles Warren.
I think so much of getting our sea legs with this project was, one, figuring out what the world looked like as of right before last Venom 3, but Last Dance. And also just trying to get a feel for like creating our own little spaces that we wanted to work in. So phase 1 is very much, in Sony fashion with their own movies, mostly self-contained stories with minor interconnective tissue. We created a thread about midway through phase 1 that built into Lethal Protectors, but for the most part, I think it was just all three of us trying to get our, like I said, just get our sea legs and figure this out. Because like we said earlier, this is something going on for this long is new for all three of us. So if we wanted it to go to distance and go all the way to the end, we needed to figure out how it worked best for us first. So this is very much the getting used to to it all phase.
How we're used to it.
Yeah.
Where we've got the sea legs have been achieved.
One thing I've learned is that I can really have a lot of fun with these thumbnails.
Peyton does all the thumbnails, and you can tell he has a lot of fun with them.
Yeah, starting off, like some of them look like ass. Like I think Dr. Octopus thumbnail looks bad. I'm not really happy with it in hindsight. I've gotten better. The first one, I wrote a whole document and printed it out and like edited it. So like the state of the Spum episode, I had completely it was like a whole letter, and maybe I'll like share that one day with the audience.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of funny. But like I want to say by Montana and the Enforcers, except for the dud of the Vulture episode thumbnail, because it just looks like green blobs. The Montana episode was the one that I was like really happy with the thumbnail. And then the Easter special and also Lethal Protectors, I freaking love. And the ideas that I'm conceptualizing for the Phase 2 thumbnails, I'm really excited for. It's such a minor thing to look at, but just kind of like scrolling through on the Spotify feed or the podcast feed in general, it's like that's like the first thing people see, and I'm really happy with what we have so far. But that's just such a minor thing, and I'm excited to continue to make more of them.
Yeah. Do we want to go back through our own pitches and just talk about like what we think we did well with individually and what we kind of want to learn from going forward into phase 2?
Sure, maybe set like personal 2-minute timers and try to keep it short.
We'll keep it short, but I guess I got to start with Dr. Octopus. Like very first solo pitch out of the gate, and not only had I never written a complete story before, like from start to end, unfortunately, I had also never written in a script format before. So
you did all winners.
Okay.
It took him a while to get into the swing of things.
I hate you. I actually hate you. That's getting cut.
Yeah.
This is the first time I really tried to write a script, and it ended up being not much of a script at all. There was some dialogue mixed in between long explanations of how scenes play out. So as I've gone on, I've tried to get better with actually like getting used to a script format. And it's something that that I think I did a lot better with in Act 1 of Lethal Protectors, and that I hope I continue to improve on in phase 2. That's my personal goal, is to actually like write, just get used to the format and learn how to create a more complete story within that format rather than just write words.
Oh yeah.
Certain things get glossed over while other things get more fleshed out than I think they need. So it's all about a balance and just trying to figure out how to strike that balance. And Dr. Octopus did that. Vulture did that as well. I get better in Lethal Protectors Act 1, I think, but hopefully we continue to get better. Peyton, how do you feel looking back on Mr. and Mrs. Parker and Prowlers?
So, thinking about Mr. and Mrs. Parker, one, I do not ever want to record an episode again when I'm like brutally sick.
Yeah,
that was a problem.
And or after I have dislocated my knee and need to like take hella pain medication, because I that episode I've re-listened to most of the episodes. The only one I have not gone back and listened to that one because I struggled to listen to my own voice.
Yep.
But also, like, I'm brutally sick. And I remember a lot of it's cut out, but there were several parts when we were recording where y'all stopped me and I was like, I just feel like shit. Like,
I remember that we were trying to like get you to speak clearly and like separate your voice from your scene description. You're like, dog, I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
And there was a couple moments where you would just start talking about how terrible you think the entire thing is, and you're like, this is the worst thing I've written in my entire life. And we're like, Peyton, calm down, you're sick.
Peyton, please, you have a high fever and you're tired. Please stop.
So emotional.
Just read.
In hindsight, I think that is one of the better things I've written. I really enjoyed like the whole sort of story there. I think like going forward, one of my number one things is to take characters that like Payne's hot take of the day. Y'all ready? Payne's little micro rant.
Let's hear it.
I don't think people give that much of a shit about Uncle Ben and Aunt May as they think they do. I think people are not like, you get attached to Uncle Ben in like the first Spider-Man movie, and yeah, he has like a lot of like things to him, but this whole phase has been not built, but like there's been a crazy amount of focus on Uncle Ben and Aunt May specifically, that, and getting into spoiler territory for Lethal Protectors, if you are listening to this episode and you have not, Lethal Protectors Part 1 and 2, clock out now, go and listen to that, because I'm about to spoil it. Aunt May dies. and like a couple other characters die.
Several.
And like, I don't think that the effect of the Lethal Protectors deaths with Aunt May, Mama Parker and Daddy Parker, I cannot remember their names, Mary and Richard, I don't think that the effect would be there had Mr. and Mrs. Parker...
Don't call them Mama and Daddy Parker.
Mama and Daddy Parker.
Papa Parker.
I don't think that the effect would be there had Mr. and Mrs. Parker not been a thing. I had a lot of fun kind of crafting not intricate, but like simple set pieces to kind of focus a plot around. And I had a lot of fun doing that. I think with Prowlers, the first draft of Prowlers had way too much shit going on, and it's now lost to time, except I have it on my computer.
We may post that at some point in some format or another, just so you guys can get an idea of just how different it was.
It was hella different. I think we're gonna save it until after one of the stories in this phase, because a lot of it is getting reused.
Yeah.
Where was I with this? The second draft of Prowlers is way more tight knit, and I had a lot of fun writing it, and I think it's like pretty good. What I would do differently is there's not a lot of focus on Hobie and Aaron's bond as much as there was in that first draft. Like, you kind of get like the effects of a friendship that has fallen out, but I wish that I had spent a little bit more time talking about the friendship that was.
Yeah.
And so I think in future drafts, there's several solutions to this, and I know that I tend to be the one that writes like almost the full scale scripts whenever we do these pitches. I could add more scenes, or I could be like, okay, I gotta summarize this conversation with Norman and Hobie.
Right.
Like there's like some things that can be broken down so that other things can be expanded. And I don't have much to talk about the Easter special because it's very short and very stupid. Though I really like.
It's very fun though, and I think it plays into a lot of your strengths as a writer, where it's just you're able to capture the absurdity of the universe.
Right.
very well.
And I love Madam Web. So there's going to be more Madam Web in my shit. That came out wrong. But Lethal Protectors Act 3, I think when I wrote it, I did write it over the course of a couple days. And it was actually like the first part of the script that was like fully written. Like, right?
I think so.
This is true. Yeah, you were able to get a lot of that done before the rest of us.
It was like, but in hindsight, the like last time I might have reread it once, and then I reread it a second time while I was putting everything into the same program. And because I had written it in this original program, it was a lot of Control Alt and then just pasted it in. There are parts of that where the dialogue is a bit rough. And there are parts of it where, specifically with the flashback involving Martin, I love it. I love it. It could have been cut. Like a lot of it could have been cut down.
Okay, yeah.
And like I love it, but it should have been cut. Like some of it should have been cut.
Didn't realize how long it went until we were recording it live.
Yeah, it was like 10 pages. And it's a fun 10 pages, but it's also like,
yeah, definitely.
It's also like heavy. And it's like really heavy.
Yeah.
And it's like geez, like and it breaks the pace up really bad. Especially listening to Lethal Protectors Part 2, it's like, geez, like, but that also came from a previous draft where that was actually the opening scene.
Yeah, that's right.
So like it was fun. And I think just like going forward for me, I want to have a mix of like I want to do longer scripts that are also paradoxically shorter, if that makes sense. I want to elaborate on the things that need a lot of more elaboration, and I want to not elaborate on as much. And have a lot more theming and tone in my stuff.
Right.
Sorry, that was a long rant.
That's okay. Noah, what are your thoughts on El Muerto and Montana and the Enforcers looking back? Do you think you could have done looking back, is there anything you would have changed or kind of sort of expanded on? Or how do you think that they were? What is your 2 cents on that looking back?
So El Muerto, and I was not planning on doing Montana originally. It was entirely because of El Muerto. So I have kind of conflicting feelings on El Muerto as a finished product. I remember when we started this, El Muerto was the thing that I called immediately for my project, because I thought the idea to make an El Muerto movie was so dumb that I wanted to prove it could work. And I think I did. It took me a long time to find my into the story, but once I did and like found the tournament angle with that, I was able to write like the entire thing and just like go from there. The problem that I found when we got to Lethal Protectors is that I honestly don't think that El Muerto fits the world.
Yeah.
And he takes a lot of work to make sense with the rest of the story that we've set up. And it takes a lot of weird juggling to get him to a point where he makes sense to interact with the rest of the team. And I'm sure we'd be able to find ways to get that to work. We'll just have to wait and see. I think the story itself was like it's a fine story. I stand by it. But like with a lot of the earlier ones, and this is kind of consistent with all three of us, I could have done more to just like flesh it out through the story, because it's definitely my shortest, and there's kind of like Doc Ock, there's just a lot of description and everything. It's much more prose-like than scriptment-like, I think, which means that you end up with less opportunity to understand the characters. And I think actually, my biggest regret with El Muerto is how we had this big joke going that El Muerto was going to be the one to introduce Spider-Man, because that's absolutely ridiculous. Who would ever think to do that, introduce our Spider-Man in an El Muerto movie? And so I stuck with that for so long because I was like, this is going to be hilarious. But I think that kind of takes a lot of the focus away from the characters in that movie itself, just because you have like the whole interlude of El Muerto meeting Spider-Man that doesn't really go anywhere else. So if I were to take a second pass at it, I would probably just make it an El Muerto movie. No Spider-Man, keep the tournament and its focus, and streamline that a lot more so that it's centered around El Muerto, him trying to measure up to his dad's reputation, and his growing relationship with the other fighters.
Mm-hmm. And then that leads into a spin-off to El Muerto that stars, I think, what ended up being the heart of this phase.
Yeah, he's great.
Which is why I cannot be too mad at my original writing for El Muerto, because holy crap.
I love this character and the the casting so much.
He is the heart.
Is it too much to say that I think Montana is the breakout star of this phase?
I think he genuinely is.
I think I agree with you, yeah.
Him as opposed to, I mean, when compared to Doc Ock, Mr. and Mrs. Parker, Muerto, and Hobie being our original characters added to this universe, like main characters, Montana is by far the standout in my opinion, just because he's
fun.
I don't know. He's just great. He's just great.
Yeah. There's so much
just
about that guy.
The two of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was so funny.
I was like, that was not something that I was planning on writing, was like, shocker. I can't remember what my original idea for
Morbius 2.
Yeah, you're right. It was going to be Morbius 2. And Jarrett ended up taking that.
And then when you wanted to do a spin-off, I grabbed Morbius 2 and it became The Vulture.
Yeah. And
Noah was actually the one who came up with the idea for Morbius to run an underground clinic for people who develop super abilities. And I admittedly didn't have a great angle on that, even though I thought it sounded interesting. And then it became a Vulture-centered story.
Yeah. Which was great, but we'll get to that soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of fell in love with the idea of the Enforcers as a group while I was writing El Muerto. And I remembered that in Spectacular Spider-Man, Montana of that group ends up becoming the Shocker kind of out of nowhere, which led to the idea of all of the gangster type characters in Spider-Man's New York getting super worried about these superpower guys coming in and taking over their piece of the pie. And I really like the idea of focusing a movie on the goon characters, just the random thugs that are working for the crooks, what their opinions would be on the changing world, how they might adapt. And it became a story that I just loved to write.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't have much that I would change in that story. I just love Montana and the Enforcers so much.
Is Lethal Protectors a little too fresh to discuss in its entirety, or do we want to discuss that a little bit and how it came together?
Well, you need to talk about Morbius too.
I actually, we got somebody. We have a special guest. Because we also talked about real movies. We got right here JC Chandor, of the director of Kraven the Hunter.
Holy
What would
crap.
you change, JC? Hi, I'm JC. I'm JC Chandor.
What is this bit?
I just want to say that if I could change Kraven the Hunter, I would. I think Pei is right. I would make Kraven speak Russian in a Russian accent the whole time. Anyways, go watch one of my better movies, like A Most Violent Year, or maybe like 10 minutes of Craven. Thank you.
Hey, JC, before you leave.
Yeah. Yeah. What's up, Noah? I love what you do here.
What is your opinion on Craven the Last Hunt as a story?
Like the one written by Zeb Wells, or no, that's the First Hunt, right?
Yeah,
I love
the first one. Yeah.
Craven's Last Hunt, like the one where he eats the spiders.
Maybe.
I think it's okay.
Okay.
I when he buries Spider-Man,
that's the one. That's the one.
Frankly, why would you bury a guy when you could just hunt him? I mean, anyways, I gotta go. Bye. What the fuck? What the fuck, JC? He just backed out. Oh my god, he just hit a car. What the fuck? I couldn't keep a straight face. I don't think he's gonna be coming back. You offended him with that question. Can we talk about Vulture? Let's just change the subject. I'm gonna have to call him later. Why would you ask him that?
What?
Dude, we cannot talk about Craven's Last Hunt to that guy.
Why? I don't understand. What is this bit? What the hell is this bit?
Dude, we cannot talk about Craven's Last Hunt with it.
I mean, I don't think we have to worry about that if he got run over by a car.
It's so fucked up. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to contact him at the hospital.
What is this fucking what? What? I just what?
JC Chandor, everybody.
Thank you, JC. Yeah, let's talk about Vulture. I mean, like,
I stared at my camera just flabbergasted for the past 5 minutes.
What is it?
I was looking through our recap thing and I was like, oh shit, we talked about Craven.
No, I was just going over our individual pitch. I wasn't going to discuss the movies.
Okay, let's talk about Vulture.
Well, I already went over both of my pitches.
Oh, then I guess we're done.
And then you went over your two, and then Noah went over his two.
And then JC Chandor went over his.
I asked about if we wanted to discuss the entirety of Lethal Protectors since it was still so fresh, and then JC Chandor showed up for some reason.
Dude, I mean, we can talk about Lethal Protectors now. JC kind of broke this up. I mean, but now God, we're gonna have to call an ambulance. This is so fucked up.
I don't understand what's happening.
So Lethal Protectors, I think like the number one thing about Lethal Protectors is that splitting the work in 3 acts, like all 3 of us doing it, while that was like fairly effective, I think that we all should have kind of had a hand in terms of like dipping into other acts. Like Noah should have been able to, in hindsight, we could have done this, but we were also kind of strapped for time.
Mm-hmm.
Like Noah should have been able to kind of tap into Act 3 and mess around with it to kind of bridge the gap. And similarly, you should have been able to tap into Acts 2 and 3, or me with 2 and 1. So like Act 1, 2, and 3 all kind of feel like our own thing, which it's cool. It's cool to see that and think about that, but also like it's also fairly disconnected. It feels like different episodes of a show in a sense. I guess.
It feels like a 3-episode miniseries with different where each episode has a different director.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's a good way to put it.
Come phase 2's crossover, perhaps we just all work on a mutual doc or something. And we can constantly see like all of our sort of changes and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
That's my number one thing with it.
Mm-hmm. I think so much of it was just the timing, and
Mm-hmm.
it was overall it was just a much bigger endeavor than I think either one of us had taken on individually. And then even
Yeah.
trying to put all of our heads together for it was way more than we had anticipated. It turned out well given the circumstances in my eyes, but the prep work involved was way more than anticipated.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. It was a lot.
What do you think, Noah? Lethal Protectors, what do you think?
I think we should have changed.
Yeah, if anything.
In Lethal Protectors. I also agree that there could have been more cohesion in like the final product. For me personally, this has been an incredibly busy year. For some great reasons, some more difficult reasons. And so my writing, at least like the time I had for writing and the time I really wanted to devote to my writing, kind of took a hit in the back half of 2024 into 2025, which ended up affecting, like the time I was able to put into drafting, anything like that. So I remember hopping in and out of the Lethal Protectors planning doc that we'd had, being like really confused about like when we talked about what, who was kind of taking the lead on which part and things like that. And so it's something I want to avoid in the future. And having more of that teamwork cohesion really helps to like keep up my momentum and excitement on whatever project we're working on. I think it would have been a lot of fun to have more sessions where we were all like writing together as well on this project, to the point that we would be able to bounce off of each other's ideas. All that to say, I think the main improvements that will be able to come from future crossovers will be in when we're able to work together like really strongly and build off of each other like as the writing is happening, I think.
And I'm really excited to do that once we move into phase 2 going forward, which I think we have some predictions, and
we got hella predictions.
We got hella of people borderline suggestions for what phase 2 should be. Like straight up like whole pitch, like elevator pitches in the predictions for phase 2.
So this comes with a fairly big announcement. We have a Discord now.
We do have a Discord now. The link will be in the descriptions for this episode wherever you get it.
We're kind of testing the waters about having a Discord. It's pretty fun so far. We have a mild or a moderate community building, and this is where most of the predictions come from. And like Jarrett said, they're mostly suggestions. So Jarrett, did you pick some of your favorites, or do you want to read all of them? Because we also got some on the Blue Sky too.
We got a few from the Discord, which I can go through if you want to go over the ones on Blue Sky. All right, so coming off of the Discord, we're not gonna read everything. I got a few here. Coltreg on the Discord, they changed their name to the Cop Spider-Man Kills, says that Mysterio will appear at some point in phase 2 and will exist between Spider-Man universes. So I think they might be implying that it's the same Mysterio from Far From Home, or that there's like a dimension hopping Mysterio potentially.
Intriguing.
But at the very least, that Mysterio will appear in phase 2.
How do we respond to these predictions?
We can make comments. I think Mysterio would be fun to have.
Who's Mysterio?
So he's kind of
he's very mysterious.
Yeah.
Is he?
kind of a mysterious fella.
No shit.
Okay.
Jonah on the Discord says that we will introduce Black Cat, Electro, and that one of Black Cat and or Electro, and that one of the main movies will be a Venom 4, which is not the first time that somebody has said Venom 4.
Well, we already introduced Electro.
That is true.
Electro has been teased, although they haven't officially taken that mantle. So I'm imagining Jonah is saying that they will reappear and as a full villain. They want Black Cat to appear, and a lot of people are saying specifically that Venom 4 will happen. Not even though that Venom's dead, guys.
Yeah, there's no more Venom.
Who's Venom?
Venom's gone. He sacrificed himself.
So Venom,
there is an anti-Venom.
Yeah. Venom was this guy. He was kind of bad. He was a bad guy.
Oh, okay. Mop on the Discord suggests that there will be a Big Wheel movie, specifically a faux mockumentary villain origin story for Big Wheel. Which I kind of love the idea of a mockumentary style movie in this universe.
Sounds so funny.
Yeah, I think that might work better with someone like, honestly, Mysterio, or Screwball, someone like that.
Imagine like a ton of like a mockumentary where it's like they're talking about working for Mysterio, and it's like everything's a freaking this guy. I hate working.
Everything's a joke. Nothing's real.
Nothing's real. And then it's revealed that the film crew was not real. These goons are pissed.
My benefits were an illusion. Mysterio said he'd pay for dental.
He set up a whole doctor's office. Not real. None of it was real.
My pay was an illusion made of printer paper.
I broke my leg filming a stunt for. I walked into the doctor's office that he had opened. The doctor walks in, takes off his mask, and it's Mysterio.
That sounds so funny. It has to happen now.
Burrito on the Discord said that Morlan would get his own film, which would be a multiverse story spinning out of No Way Home, actually.
Intriguing.
All good ideas for how you could take different characters that aren't Spider-Man and spin them off into some sort of genre film. Let me see if there's any others here.
I do know what No Way Home is.
Some these are really cool pitches, and even if we don't get to any of them, y'all could always write your own.
This is true. We will not. By no means are we are refusing fanfic.
Yeah.
If an idea strikes you,
write your Montana Eddie Brock Just the Two of Us fanfiction. I won't read it. Will I?
What is the Montana Eddie Brock ship name?
Montetti.
Montetti?
Montetti.
Montetti.
Brontetta.
Montetti, just the two of us.
I don't know.
Brocktetta.
That's the name of the fic.
Fic. Okay.
Brocktana.
Just the two of us.
Raid on the Discord predicts that we'll see a fight between Teresa and Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's right. Teresa was introduced in the Follows the White Rabbit Easter special.
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't gotten much play yet, but she seems to be attending some sort of secret school for potential spies on account of her mom being a spy. So I
Trooper
guess
on the Discord predicts an all-women phase, except for a Venom 4, which we have acknowledged that Phase 4 was a little bit
Phase 4
dude heavy, or
Phase 1
Phase 1 was a little bit dude heavy, which was not our intention, but it sort of ended up that way unintentionally, and so that is something that we have said. We have been open about wanting to correct as we move forward.
The program,
and maybe you'll see the fruits of those statements here in a few minutes when we announce some things.
When we were trying to figure out casting for the Lethal Protectors thing and trying to like figure out who should voice what and also like how many lines have, I had this program and it pulled up the stats and it said like in pretty much bold letters, it was like, this script does not pass the Bechdel test. And then it was like, it passes the reverse Bechdel test 30 times. And I was like, what? like I was like, surely there must be a conversation involving two women that does not involve a man. And it doesn't. And it was like by the end, like we had recorded the episode and I was like, geez, we need to change this. And so there will be a lot more women this phase. Mm-hmm. It's an active decision we are making. In fact, I'm inclined to say that almost every pitch might have a woman as a main character in it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just kind of looking at our phase 2 outline, I could foresee a woman playing a main role in each one of them, except for, I guess, one. One in particular.
One or two.
Yeah. But, intriguing.
Yeah. Do we want to get into some more predictions, or do we want to take a quick break and then get to announcing some things?
There are 2 more predictions that I have, and they both come from the user Typist in Neon on the Blue Sky. I strongly recommend that y'all follow the Blue Sky as well, because that's where you get like most of the updates for the pod. And we also have a lot of fun posting on there. Typist and Neon posted 4, and they're all great. But for the sake of the time, I'm going to pick 2. And I think that the 2 that I want to talk about is an Otto Octavius sequel subtitled Funeral for an Octopus. Where basically he wants something that he can't immediately use, and somebody would compare that to having a funeral for an octopus. And he has to fake his own death to get to it. And that sounds kind of fun, and immediately I'm reminded of the prelude to Superior Spider-Man is like really absurd. It involves like Peter Parker recruiting a whole team of villains to do like a mission in the desert because Otto's dying, and his like the last thing is he's gonna release some carcinogen into the air. Like it's like something really crazy like that. And in a way, he does fake his death in that.
What is the other one?
The other one is something setting up the Brotherhood of Scryer, a crime syndicate who all pretend to be one robed guy. Which immediately I'm thinking of like the Ultimate Spider-Man Hickman stuff happening right now.
Yeah.
Who are secretly a cult worshipping the one robed guy. And it would be tied to some need to stop the prophesied coming of Null. And, you know, we haven't spent a lot of time thinking about Null, God of the Void. But I don't know. That could be interesting. We haven't really played a lot with the cosmic side of it.
No, we haven't. Are we ready to actually get into our main pitches?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Sure.
So, he says, yeah, sure, why not? It's just the future of this podcast going forward for the next, 8 months.
Yep.
So, for our main pitches, we're going in a similar order to Phase 1. The main difference is... Well, actually, no. I'm going to start like we did with Phase 1, but after that, our order is going to kind of shuffle around with each go-round. And you'll see what I mean as we get further in, but very first pitch for this phase, we're going full in on the has to do with Spider-Man gimmick. Matter of fact, it more than has something to do with it. It straight up is Spider-Man.
Whoa.
The first pitch for Phase 2 is the spectacular Spider-Man, ladies and gentlemen.
And theys and thems.
And theys and thems.
Spider-Man had he's had a lot of trouble.
Peter's gone through a lot.
Later, what a movie focusing on our Spider-Man would be about.
Yeah, he's been through a lot in a very short amount of time, very recently, in Lethal Protectors. And so we're going to follow up with Peter and see how this has affected his daily life and as he faces new threats
Intriguing.
Noah, would you like to share the second pitch?
Yes, I would. So this took me a while to figure out exactly what I would like to do for my second. I had a pretty solid idea going for a bit that Peyton and Jarrett know about. But I decided to scrap that one for the moment. It'll probably come back in the future.
I would love to see it happen.
But yeah, that will be my first for this phase is Big Wheel.
No shit.
Ah!
No shit. What?
I'm doing a Big Wheel movie.
Let's go.
We're getting a Big Wheel movie. I'm so happy.
Following Big Wheel being technically hired by Kingpin at the end of Montana, we will dive deep into the character of Jackson Wheel and try to understand this devil-may-care enforcer with a death wish as he tries to come to terms with the fact that this is not where he wants to be. He might have a different calling in life, and that's not to be the one running people over with his big wheel. And that's all I'm going to say about that for now.
So your third solo pitch is a spin-off of the spin-off of the spin-off.
Yes.
That's awesome, though.
Or a spin-off of the spin-off of the movie.
That is so dope.
Of El Muerto.
That is so fucking dope.
Yeah. I got this idea today while I was working with my fiance, actually, and trying to figure out all of the ins and outs of the Spum podcast. And I realized this will connect better. And I have a really fun idea for several set pieces with the big wheel.
Intriguing.
I'm really intrigued. I'm really excited.
Really excited.
I also think it'd be very funny if all your solo pitches from here on out are all spin-offs of one another.
That would be very funny.
Mm-hmm.
So the third pitch of phase 2 is Peyton's. You want to take it away and explain a little bit?
Yeah. So, bouncing a bit off of what was it again? Spectacular Spider-Man? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
So bouncing a bit off of that is kind of a midquel, we could say, following Peter Parker and Prowler, titled just simply Peter and Prowler.
Okay.
Basically, like it's a character duo that has a big history in comics. Notably, Prowler, specifically the Hobie Brown Prowler, has run around as Peter Parker while Peter had to, or not Peter Parker, as Spider-Man, while Peter has had to appear in court and stuff. And so I kind of wanted to play with that dynamic that we didn't really get to have in Lethal Protectors. And so I'm really excited to play around with Peter and Prowler. Okay.
All right. So the second go around is actually going to be a different structure. So I start off again, and one of the things that has always fascinated me about Sony's Marvel Universe is all of these movies that were announced and then never came to be. El Muerto is one of them, and we followed through on what an El Muerto movie might look like. I'm going to take a crack at a different one that was announced that I was very excited for when it was announced and followed for a while, and then when it just didn't happen, I was kind of disappointed. So,
yeah,
my second solo pitch for phase 2 will be Silver and Black.
Yeah.
This will build off of Silver Sable's introduction as a child in Mr. and Mrs. Parker and her appearance at the end of Lethal Protectors alongside Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah, don't forget the post-credit scene famously featured in J.C. Chandor's Kraven the Hunter movie.
I'm J.C. Chandor. I heard my name.
Get out of here, Chandor.
Bye.
Nobody wants you here.
I'm healed again. I will come back.
So this will follow, Silver and Black will follow two different teams composed of very different people doing very different things who will be forced to collaborate and work together despite their differences when some political rivalries and like Mission Impossible-esque chicanery threatens nuclear war.
That's exciting.
It's gonna be big spectacle movie for my first attempt at like a big action blockbuster kind of movie, and I'm really excited to showcase what it will present and tease for the future.
Hell yeah.
Well, I'm down for some chicanery.
Some Chandor-uri.
Next, instead of Noah, will actually be Peyton again.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton, do you want to tell us about your second solo pitch?
Yeah, so bouncing off of Spectacular Spider-Man, Peter and Prowler, I'm also getting to do a Spider-Man pitch. This one is called Astonishing Spider-Man, and it follows off of those previous two movies. And I'm not going to say any more. I'm just excited to finally write a Spider-Man pitch. We're making this has to do with Spider-Man, period.
And then Noah doesn't go this time around. Instead, it comes back to me for my third solo pitch of Phase 2, which will be Shocker to the Ends of the Earth. We will follow up on Lethal Protectors with Montana as he sort of gets back to this solo life after some very big events, and will follow this man who has lost so much and watch him attempt to rekindle part of what he lost a long time ago while some dangerous forces try to hunt him down. I'm very excited to put this one out there. This is probably the one I'm most excited for.
It's always going to be really fun to see what happens when we write each other's characters. So I'm really excited to see like what kind of spin you put on Montana.
Excited to see it too.
I hope I do it justice. I really want this to. This is the one I am most excited for, bar none, for this entire phase. I wish this was what I was doing first, but you'll understand as we get further in. You guys will realize why we're doing it in this order.
The order is really going to matter. One of the things that we didn't talk about when it came to looking back over Phase 1, and this is something that I really felt kind of, but it's just based on how we jumped into this project in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Phase 1 doesn't really have a theme.
Not really.
Aside from like origins and stuff. So when it came to drafting Phase 2, the one that we have complete control of, I think it's very important that we have a consistent theme with some kind of connection point for each of these stories. They don't have to be all the same, but just enough that they can connect and make one cohesive narrative. And the theme for this phase will be related to identity and how these characters feel about themselves and whether or not they feel fulfilled in their own lives. How can they discover more about themselves as they grow and change over time? And that is something you're going to see echoed a lot.
It's not a motif, but it's an idea that you will see ping pong throughout all of these characters' lives, throughout all of these films, into the eventual crossover at the end. But first, we get to what is now pitch 7, which is Peyton's. Peyton, you want to take it away? Tell us what your third solo pitch is?
So, I watched this movie for the first time a couple nights ago, and I've been reading a lot about the character, and Sony also owns the rights to this character.
Oh my gosh.
For just 2 more years. And so I'm proud to announce that Bloodshot will be... Oh shit, this is the wrong document. So I've also been reading this character for a while now, because this has been a pitch that I've been wanting to do. And it's a character without a lot of backstory and just doesn't have a lot to him. But I'm doing a pitch on the character of James Bourne Solo. And just to give a basic idea of it, a 1-sentence log line. The movie Solo is about 4 characters, one of them being James Bourne, basically going on a team mission. So Solo is not going to be alone, but as long as Solo lives, terrorism dies. So he's going to be fighting terrorism, however that is.
Solo's abilities are essentially teleportation and just having
God.
and just being armed to the gills
Yeah,
with
it's ridiculous.
explosives. So he'll just show up to places and yell, "Where as long as Solo lives, terror dies," and then just go in guns a blazing. Right? That's my understanding of the character.
And then teleport out, and it's like, what the hell did this guy do? He was a part of like the Deadpool Mercs for Money group for a little bit too.
Okay.
I remember seeing him during like the Civil War II event.
Yeah. He does play a role in that. I forgot about that. Yeah.
And then after this, Noah has 2 pitches back to back. He is going to die.
This is an insane thing for me to do. But yes, I will be doing 2 pitches in a row. First one is a continuation of Lethal Protectors, which may just be a Venom 4, but Venom's dead, so it's not going to be Venom 4. It's going to be Anti-Venom.
Anti-Venom movie!
Where we follow Eddie Brock, now kind of fully wanting to be a hero in New York City, and being saddled with the responsibility of cleaning up Spider-Man's messes as Spider-Man is going on, is out for blood following the aftermath of Lethal Protectors. So this is not only Venom 4, it is finally a Venom Spider-Man team-up movie.
Woo!
Hell yeah.
So we've got a Peter Prowler movie and a Peter Venom movie.
And like other Peter related.
Yeah, including my last pitch of the phase, a solo pitch of the phase, which is the Ultimate Spider-Man.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where finally we're going to see how the grief and torment that Peter has been through finally catches up with him, and all of the damage that can come from a Peter Parker who is just rage incarnate, and what that might look like for the people of New York City.
And then all of these pitches will coalesce, combine, and these characters will team up into an as yet untitled crossover pitch. It may be a sequel to Lethal Protectors. It may be something completely different. We haven't fully decided yet, but you will learn more about it once we come to that decision. But we're really excited for everyone to find out where this phase goes. We have squeezed.
We could call the working title for that last one Blue Harvest.
I hate you. We've squeezed an entire Spider-Man trilogy into one phase. It's a lot, but also Peter has a lot going on right now.
It's a lot.
And we're introducing new characters. We're following up on old ones.
Old friends.
We get to see a lot of Peter now that he's been fully introduced. Plus, as Peyton said at the beginning of this pitch, in between each of these, you're going to get guest pitches as well. So we've got a lot planned, and I believe we're actually intending for the very first guest pitch to kick off our phase 2, which will be JONAH, who is, if you guys aren't aware, the person who actually created and helps keep the wiki up to date with each pitch, and as new information comes out. JONAH, massive shout out and thanks to you again, by the way.
Thank God.
You've been more help than you fully realize, because there is so much work that goes into trying to keep that together, and we can't even keep it straight sometimes. So you keep us on task, and you have been such a major help. And so JONAH has been working on a pitch for Swiss Miss, an original character from the Spider-Man play Turn Off the Dark. And they have a whole pitch ready to go, from my understanding, for a solo Swiss Miss movie. And that is what will kick off phase 2.
Fun fact, Swiss Miss was last seen in the tournament bracket for El Muerto.
Yep, because Swiss Miss was taken out in the first round of something because JONAH noticed that, and that is what inspired them to write this pitch, because it will tie into either the aftermath of that match or lead into that match. And we will follow up on them, whether it's a prequel or a follow-up to that pitch, as we kick off phase 2. Guys, we're all super excited to bring this to you. It's going to be we have the next several months mapped out for this project. And this isn't including any sort of special presentations that we'll come up with along the way. I know we have ideas for potentially holiday specials or Easter specials going forward, potentially others if the mood strikes. But this rough map takes us up until April or May, I believe. So we're very excited to get this kicked off. We're already working on our first pitches, and we're planning to schedule the first guest pitch here soon. But without further ado, we want to thank you guys for listening. We know you are hyped, and we're just as hyped, if not more, to bring this to you and get your thoughts.
Join the Discord.
Join the Discord. The link will be down below in the description for this episode, wherever you're listening. And
follow us on Blue
Sky. Follow us on Instagram. We're going to try and start advertising more. You'll get clips of the pod on both. Peyton regularly posts on Blue Sky.
Mostly shit posts.
So you get to hear some of his manic screeching from time to time if you follow us.
Talking about 19 inches of venom. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We're excited to hear back, to get all this kicked off, and excited. So we hope you are too. And thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.